Hi and welcome to another video update from the Fire Brigade Union. This time we're here to discuss a very serious dispute that's taken place in the West Midlands Fire Service. We're joined by the local FBU Brigade Secretary, Steve Price-Hunt. Now Steve, this dispute, it's one dispute, but it involves two key elements, one affecting our control staff and one affecting firefighters. Can you talk us through the dispute involving firefighters to begin with?
Yes, by all means, Tam. What the West Midlands Fire Service are intending to do is reduce the firefighters by 300 posts while still maintaining the same service delivery model. Now, we, the Fire Brigade Union, believe this is a dangerous practice. What they intend to do is run the fire service on goodwill, relying on firefighters to come into work on their days off, potentially carrying out tens of thousands of overtime shifts.
So effectively, the Chief Fire Officer wants to run the same service, but with far less firefighters, and expecting firefighters to pick up the slack. Now these extra shifts, is that overtime or how does it work?
West Midlands are calling it additional shifts, but all firefighters know that it's overtime. It actually gets worse because our nationally agreed rates of pay for overtime are time and a half, and what the West Midlands are intending to do is pay our firefighters flat rate to come into work on their days off. Now this is dangerous. Firefighters will not do it, and it will put the public at risk because quite simply, there are not enough firefighters and there will not be enough firefighters in the West Midlands to staff the fire engines.
Well, Steve, this is clearly a very serious issue. What's the next step for the union? Where are you taking this dispute and how are you going to run it?
Well, we've been trying to negotiate with management for over 8 months now, and they have not moved. We are prepared to sit down and negotiate a settlement. If they don't sit down in the next week, then we will ballot our members for a trade dispute.
Now, you talk about balloting members, that's clearly a very serious matter. What's the ballot going to consist of? What action are you asking members to take?
For operational firefighters, it will be a trade dispute for a ban on overtime, which is action short of strike.
Well, that's one element, that's the firefighting element. But of course, there's another side to it, and that involves our emergency fire control staff. Talk us through that particular dispute.
Yes, it's a very grave situation occurring in fire control. What West Midlands Fire Service intend to do is reduce the number of control operators by 10 posts, potentially make 4 of our members redundant, change their shift working patterns to 12-hour shifts, and reduce all the watch managers or all the crew managers in rank.
People out there might not know this, but emergency fire control operators, I mean, these are the people that take the 999 calls and mobilise appliances. 10 posts lost, but out of how many?
10 posts out of around 60. Yes, it is a very, very serious situation and very dangerous. This could really put the public at risk. They are the integral part of the fire service which mobilise firefighters and make sure that they're safe on the fire ground when assisting the public.
Steve, a massive cut to fire control staff. The union's not having it. What actions are you going to take? Are you going to ballot control members? And if so, what action are you asking them?
Well, yet again, unless West Midlands Fire Service sit down and negotiate a fair settlement, then we will ballot our members in control, and this potentially could be industrial action for striking.
Okay, so that's clearly a very serious step. Now, 2 or 3 times you've said there, unless West Midlands Fire Service sit down. So there's still time for talks if management want to take that.
Yes, we've made it clear. For the last 8 months, they are willing to negotiate. Over the last 8 months, the West Midlands Fire Service have not moved 1 inch on any of their proposals. We are prepared to negotiate. If not, we are prepared to enter into a trade dispute.
Steve, thanks. We're now joined by the Union's General Secretary, Matt Wrack. Matt, we just heard from Steve about the situation in the West Mids, and this seems to be a situation that's happening more and more across the country. And as General Secretary, you must see this. What's your take on the issues behind this dispute?
I think the fundamental problem, Tam, is underfunding of the service. Whatever we think of what the brigade is doing in the West Midlands, it's because they're running short of money because the government central funding is being cut. And they're making the cuts by either closing fire stations, getting rid of fire engines, or in this case, attacking our members' conditions of service. And actually, none of them are acceptable. You know, we don't want a poorer service. But equally, why should firefighters pay through a tax on their conditions of service for underfunding of the service? And I think that's what's going on in the West Midlands.
Well, we've got West Midlands members fighting back. There's a potential for some ballots, official trade dispute in West Midlands. What support can you offer them on behalf of the National Union?
Well, I've been up there myself to a lobby of the Fire Authority recently. I met the Chief and the Chair of the Authority. You know, we will do what we can to try and assist resolve the disputes, because if we can avoid having disputes, then that's better than having them. But also we're giving advice now about what a trade dispute might be. That's what's the lawful mechanism by which you register a formal legal disagreement between us as the employees and the employer. That's already in hand. There then may, as you say, be ballots, and we will then put the support of the union nationally behind our West Midlands members, and they'll have the full support of the Fire Brigade Union.
Matt, thanks. For more information on this dispute, and indeed in the wider work of the union, please go to our website, that's www.fbu.org.uk, or follow us on Twitter at FBU National. And specifically for the West Midlands, they have Twitter accounts and indeed a Facebook site up and running. Just search West Midlands FBU. Till next time, thanks very much, Matt.
Thanks, Tam.